This is David with High Performance Stoicism. I want to talk to you about the one principle you need to know to start living stoically today. When people start their stoic journey and start reading Stoicism and practicing Stoicism, there's one principle that they come across a lot, and that is live according to nature. Now, one thing that's quite tricky about this principle is that you have to find out what nature is. And for the Stoics, it's a little complicated, but let me just give you an outline. So, living according to nature primarily means living according to your rational nature as a human being and living according to the events of the universe as decided by the governor of the universe, which they call Zeus, nature, reason, and a number of other things. But I don't know that that really helps you that much because what what does that mean? So here's a principle to follow which can start you off today to become a much more rational person just with this single three-word principle, and I call it consistent rational action. Whatever you do, use the mind that you have, your rational mind, to decide what is the rational thing in this situation. And given the Stoic view that you are by nature rational, if you just ask this question, what is the rational thing to do? You're going to come up with better answers than you usually come up with by just going with habit, by going with the way you've always done things, and by going with the way many people do things in society. If you just ask, what is really the rational thing here? You're often going to at least find something out, but often you'll make better decisions. Now, the second part of this little formula is consistent. You want your rational actions to be consistent, and that means you don't want it to be just some of the time you're acting rationally and other times you're not. And if you do find out something that is the most rational thing in a given situation, you want to find out where you can apply this to other things. So something you find out is a rational way to handle an angry person at work can be a rational way to handle someone who's angry that's either a family member or a friend. And just with this goal of staying with this idea of acting rationally consistently, you're going to start improving your choices overall. And in a short while, you'll start to see some improvements about the way you're thinking and the way you're living. Now, whenever I talk about consistent rational action as a principle, many people are going to come up with objections, and that's all right. Remember, Stoicism is a philosophy, so we're happy to have objections to the view because it gives us an opportunity to clarify what is meant. And somebody might think that I'm asking people to be reasoning all the time, but that's not the view. Being rational just means, in some cases, just seeing what's required of a situation and doing what you observe. Okay, this will be the best action in this situation. And so that might mean, okay, a car is coming down the street quickly. It doesn't take much reasoning to see the rational thing to do is to step back on the curb. So, one of the objections that people come up with to the principle of consistent rational action is, but do we always have to be rational? Sometimes shouldn't we relax? Or sometimes shouldn't we be emotional? Or sometimes shouldn't we just enjoy the silence? And I would say for all of these objections to the principle, I would say, well, is being silent in this situation or just relaxing or is being irrational, is being emotional in this case, is that the best thing? Is that what reason suggests you would do if you're not in the situation? And so if the answer is yes, Sometimes it is good to be emotional in certain ways. Sometimes it is good to be tender with someone that you love or to be compassionate. Stoicism doesn't rule any of these things out. It's just always looking for what you believe to be the best thing rationally, even if there's a moment where you don't have time to reason things out. And so in some situations, something that would be a rational response in other cases would be irrational, right? So if the building's on fire, jumping out of a second story window, that might be the rational thing. And in that case, it wouldn't be crazy. So for you, here's what I want you to do. Just start for everything that you do during the day, just start asking, what is the rational thing to do? See what you find out and consistently stay with this. Of course, as you're reading some Stoic books like those from Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, and I can tell you that you're going to find that your day is going in a better way. You're going to be calmer to some extent, and just following consistent rational action for some time, you'll start to see the Stoics are onto something. And we're going to find that out a lot more when we get into some of the tricky things, such as what is nature, what do they mean by rationality, and so forth. But that's just a great starting point for all of you. And that's it for today's video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you in the next video.